Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, damsels and dingbats, to Stranded Deep. This is episode 3 of season 3, and I figured today we would go out and do a little hunting. Between episodes, I was out running around collecting up some resources to increase my ammo stockpile, and while I was out, I ran across something that I was not planning on doing for a while yet. I actually ran across a great white sitting out in the middle of the ocean. Now, last season I had a horrible time finding these guys. So, not wanting to risk losing him, I had a whole crapload of buoy balls with me that I was bringing back to base, and I decided I would use them as breadcrumbs so that when I got back to base, I could drop off my stuff, make my fresh ammo, save up, grab some bandages and whatnot, and head back out and actually record the hunt. Now, what I remember the last time I hunted one of these guys, A, he is a pain in the ass. B, he's a pain in the ass. C, I'm going to have to heal a lot. I don't know how long this fight's going to take. And he's a pain in the ass. Now, normally what I would do is I would play the game and share it with you as I'm playing the game. I'd be, like any of my other normal gameplay videos. What I've been doing recently with the hunts, however, is I've been doing the recordings in game and then going back over it and doing this narrative after the fact. Now, the reason I do that, I wasn't very clear last episode when I tried to explain it. It's because I was distracted. But the reason I do that is because I don't know from moment to moment how long anything's going to take. How long is it going to take me to find the creature I'm hunting? How long is the fight going to take itself? How many times am I going to die before I manage to kill the creature? And when I kill the creature, am I going to be able to recover its body and get it back to my home base before something else eats me? Or my hand gives out and I lose control of the right mouse button and I drop the creature into the bottomless depths. So many factors included. I've simply decided that for the hunts, I would go through and do the recordings, edit out all of the stupid crap, therefore turning 5 hours of footage into something more presentable by YouTube standards. And then, of course, since I'm doing it that way, I can't do the narrative while I'm playing the game because now I'm sitting and talking in the game and nothing's going on. And when I go to edit it out, I can't hey, look, I've got no head. When I go to edit it out, I can't edit it out at that point because now I'm cutting out my narrative. So I'm not going to do all of my videos like this, just the hunts, because I find it easier to do that way. Also, when I'm hunting, yeah, you lose a lot of my reaction to the hunt. Like when the shark comes out of nowhere and makes me squeal like a little girl. I realize that's funny for you guys, and it is good entertainment, but at the same time, most of the time, that's not happening, and I'm just sitting around saying repeatedly. So, for this fight, I'm going to narrate over the top of it. Now, next episode, I think I'm going to go out and I'm going to do a mission. So, I may record that one live. We'll just have to see. It depends on how I'm feeling that day and if I honestly think that I can get through the recording, and the fight in one or two goes so that we don't have 4 hour shenanigans. Now, my fights usually do take a while simply because everyone's aware that I have the lag. I don't have a great computer. I am grateful for the system I have. It was purchased for me as a gift. Thank you, wifey. My beast died several years ago, and this was a replacement. So I'm grateful that I can play games and share them with you at all. But when it comes to games or elements of games such as this, where the lag has a noticeable effect on my abilities, it does tend to drag things out. It does tend to make it harder. It adds a new level of challenge to the game. And now what I'm doing here is I'm trying for the life of me to stay on the boat. As you've seen, he's hit the boat a few times already. And I'm not too fast in the water. Well, I'm not too fast anywhere. I have just as much lag in the water as anything else. And you can see he grabs me a couple times. My hit points go down several times. I actually died, I think, 3 times in this fight. And it lasted the course of, I think, 2.5 days. But I went in and I edited English. I went in and edited the, why is that word so hard this morning? I edited out the deaths and the healings. Bastard. I forgot about that. I lost all my boxes. Anyway, I chopped all that stuff out and I re-edited it together so that, it will just for speed and sanity. I mean, like I said, we've only got half an hour to do this video. Most of the video was me chasing the stupid shark around or running away screaming. I do, however, manage to kill it. I thought it would be cool in the editing here. I went ahead and took note of how many hits it took to kill him. And he didn't sink as fast as he did last season. Now, I don't know if they went in and edited it. That I'm going to stop using that word. I don't know if they changed that since last season. There have been, like I said, a few changes since we last fought the Great White. The last time we fought him, he dropped like a rock, and I had to kill him like half a freaking dozen times before I was able to grab him and get him back to base. This time he just kind of, he floated there for a minute, and then he started to drop slowly. So I think they changed that because there was a lot of complaints from people that, they went and they killed the Great White and they weren't even able to harvest the creatures. Now, I've got mine on display, but you can skin these just like the other sharks. And I think they give a couple hide and like 3 or 4 big-ass shark steaks. Steak. I have no idea where all the spears and arrows went. I noticed that when I pulled him up on, finally got him back to my island. He only had 1 spear left in him. And I know I hit him with like at least, well, you saw the count. So I don't know if we just glitched out somewhere. I noticed when I get close to my base, the game kind of freaks out for a second or two, like I'm going through a lag wall. And I think that's just because, once again, I don't think the game's designed to have these big-ass complex houses on them. So there's a loading moment. So I think maybe I've lost a couple sharks trying to get them onto the island. I've lost a couple snakes, rays, trying to get them onto the island because I'll be moving and it'll lag out. And when I come back, it's no longer registered that I was holding the right mouse button, and I dropped it somewhere, and I couldn't find it again. So I've had to learn to navigate that. Speaking of snakes and rays, I don't know what the deal is, but both my snake and ray are gone. I don't know if that's it's got to be some sort of a glitch. When the island reloads, there's something going on with that. I will replace those later this episode. What we're doing now, I edited my 3 hours of travel / combat / gameplay and realized that we only had here about 10 minutes of footage, and that's not a video. So I was like, well, what else am I going to do? I need to go back out and do something entertaining. And so I was like, okay, we'll go ahead and head out to one of these fortresses, these coastal fortresses, or oil rigs as I always call them. And we'll pick up on one of their missions. Now, like I said earlier, there are 3 missions in this game. There's the Megalodon, the giant squid, and again, I'm not sure, but I think I've heard that it's the third one's a giant eel. So what I was doing, I'm not familiar at this point. I'm not familiar with how the missions work. All I know is by what I've read online, you have to come out to these platforms, and somewhere in the platform there's a room with a mission board, and that's where you get the mission. So I came out here wanting to get the Megalodon mission because I figured I just hunted the great white shark. If we get the Megalodon mission and complete that, that'll go good with the shark. I didn't realize that each mission is specific to its own tower here. So, I thought I could pick up any mission at any tower and be good. But that's what I get for thinking, because in this tower, we didn't get the Megalodon. We got the giant squid. And it turns out if you come up to the second floor, there's this room here with a mission board. And when you click on it, you get your mission. This one happens to be Luska the Great, and it is a giant squid. So we went ahead and grabbed that, and it just tells you that you need to kill the creature. It doesn't tell you where you need to go or anything like that. Well, it turns out this big bastard, this buoy that he was on, is just right outside where you get the mission. And so I got the mission. I hopped on the raft, and I moved the raft like maybe 20, 30 feet, and that's where this guy was. Now, this fight is heavily edited for several reasons. Primarily because the first time I came out, I didn't have enough ammo. I severely underestimated the squid, how many hit points it had. 2, it's heavily edited because I wasn't, when I do damage, when I'd shoot it or hit it with a harp spear or whatever, I wasn't always doing damage. Now, I've watched videos on this fight afterwards, and it seems like, you're able to do damage, period, anytime you hit it. But I discovered that the only time I was doing damage, you'll notice, like right now, you can't see his name up above. Now you can. When he gets close enough, you see his name and his hit point bar, and I've noticed that is the time when I was actually able to do damage to him. And so it took me, I think I died twice before I realized what my problem was. So I ended up reloading up on a bunch of spears, and even with my inventory full of spears, it used every spear I had to kill this thing. It actually got down to the point where I had one spear left and nothing else, so I had to use it in melee to kind of chip away at this big bastard. Once again, I did have to heal. Let's see, I think the last time I did the fight, I died twice, and then the last time I went out and I did the fight, I managed to pull it off by healing myself 3 times. Now, this thing looks vicious, and it's got a pretty nasty attack, which you don't see in the footage here because it got edited out. But if you fight it off the raft or off the buoy, it can reach out with one of its long tentacles and either drag you into the water or knock you off your raft into the water, either or. And, it's a pretty awesome mechanic. He also, when he grabs you like that, he drags you way out. I don't know if you can tell, but if you keep an eye on it, eventually, one of these times you'll see, I'm near my raft, he'll grab me and drag me way out, and I'm way away from my raft then. and then I got to swim back towards the raft, and which gives him the chance to circle back around and grab me again. It's a I like the mechanic. I mean, as terrifying as it is, I mean that seems realistic to me. If I was a giant squid, that's what I would do. Now the thing doesn't do as much damage as I thought it would do. I mean, like I said, I did die a couple times. But that's not because he's overpowered. That's simply because I underestimated how many, you run out of ammo, and, he's going to kill you eventually if you just try to take him on with a wood axe. Um, so he doesn't do a lot of damage, but he is really freaking fast. I don't know if you can tell with as choppy and edited as this video is, but he moves. So it was a relatively challenging fight. I did feel satisfaction when I finished it. I was hoping after the fact that I could grab his carcass and drag him back to my base and put him on display with the sharks, but apparently that's no-go. I do get a trophy. You do get the trophy. Also, I don't know if I missed something or if I just wasn't paying attention. I went back over it, several times while I was editing it, and I didn't see it. But apparently, these missions are where you get the gyrocopter recipes, or I don't know if they're the actual parts or just the recipes. But when I kill this guy, you'll see that not only do I get the trophy, I get some blades for the gyrocopter, which is cool. But the problem is, the season I was intending on doing, I wrote down a specific list of things I wanted to do for each episode. I'm trying to do at least 8 episodes so that I can keep the season's length, roughly on par with the last 2. But things are happening a lot faster than I thought they were going to. For example, the great white shark hunt wasn't as long as I anticipated, and editing out all the boring crap only left me with like a couple minutes of video. This fight here I anticipated was going to take longer, and it did, but it was a lot of repetition, a lot of me chasing him, not being able to catch him, a lot of me waiting for him to turn around and come back at me so I could try to hit him. Mostly a bunch of me gasping for air and trying to get back on my boat to heal. Like I said, a couple deaths. So I edited all that crap out because who wants to watch that, right? Other than you sadistic people who like to watch me die. You know who you are. So, added into that the fact that, a lot of the stuff I wanted to do, like I wanted to go hunt down a whale to show you guys, but apparently they're not in the game anymore. I wanted to do the same with sea turtles. I guess the marlins are still in the game because they're in the editor, but I'll be damned if I can find one. I've gone out to all of the deep sea zones and looked around, and I can't find one. So a lot of the stuff I wanted to turn into episodes is just not going to be available, which is severely cutting into how long I'm going to be able to make this season. So we'll have to figure out something for that. But I think what I'm going to try to do next episode. See, I got these propeller parts. I wasn't able to keep the body though, and I lost all the ammo from that fight. All that ammo I built or created. As soon as I collected the reward, it was gone. Like, I didn't even get the chance to get any of it back. So, I did manage to, for those of you wondering, when you get your trophies, it doesn't go into your inventory. You have to go into your crafting, and then you come over here, and it's right up there under trophies. So I've got 2 trophies left I need to get. I think I'm just going to set this over here for now, and I'll get a peg later and put it up on the wall. What was I saying before that, though? Yeah, I think I think next episode we'll do another mission. I'm hoping to do the Megalodon one, and but it might be the eel. I don't know. Whichever it is, I'm not going to edit it quite so heavily, simply because I need to try to make a full episode out of it. Um, but other than that, I mean, we're getting back to the point in the game again where there really isn't a whole lot to do now. Yes, we're playing in builder mode, which makes it a little bit easier. I mean, you don't have to worry about. I guess they have a new mechanic for like sunburn and stuff like that, and I didn't realize it when I went into builder mode, but apparently that doesn't affect you in builder mode. Okay, so we have our trophy, and we still have 10 minutes of video, so let's pop over and take a look at something special this episode. All right, folks. Today we're gonna take a look at something a little bit different from our norm. I was planning on doing a bit more hunting today, but it seems like several of the creatures I was intending to hunt, not intending, they're simply not in the game anymore. So that leaves me with 10 minutes of this episode I need to fill in with something else. So I've decided what I'm going to do at the end of this season. We're going to put together a zoo island. Right now we're doing kind of a museum island where I'm collecting the animals I've killed and the trophies and so forth. But I want to create a zoo island where I have these animals alive and where you can kind of look at them, kind of like a zoo. Duh. So unfortunately, I can't include this island in the game that we're playing now, and I still have some things to do before we reset. So what we're going to start doing at the end of the episodes, we're going to take a look at the cartographer, the game's cartographer engine. They actually have it set up to where you can design your own islands and import them into the game and actually use them in a game. Now, this is actually how we started this season by creating this brick test island. And that's, like I said earlier in the season, instead of going through the entirely too long process of collecting all of the clay I needed to rebuild the house we lost, I've done that once already, and it took, like, freaking forever to collect all that clay. I was not about to do that again, so I just created that little island that we've been playing on this season, dropped a crap load of clay on it, and built my house. So for our zoo island, we're going to go ahead and go into Create an Island. And it's going to load up our base island template, if you will. And this is not going to be a island creator tutorial because I'm not overly familiar with the tools myself. I've only played around with it for a little bit. So I'm just going to do what I know how to do without explaining it. If you want to create your own islands, the cartographer's there. Feel free to play around. What I want is, I want my island. I want it to be fairly good sized, so I'm going to raise a lot of this land here. And I want a pool in the middle where I can put sharks and marlin and stuff like that. Right now, the sea turtles, the whales, even the seagulls and bats seem to be missing. Now, I don't know if they pulled them out to do work on them or what the deal is, but they're not there. They're not currently there, so I can't hunt them. I can't do anything about that. But what I can do is create an island where these things can be found, or at least what's still available. I'm lowering this, but there's no water going in. There we go. Okay, so I will build on this island normally. Like I'll put a little house and stuff. But for now, our biggest concern is actually I want to create a couple more low spots. For stuff like snakes and pigs, where we don't have to worry about see if I can make like little pens here. Something where the animals can't get out and you can walk along and kind of look at them. This is going to be interesting because I think actually you can't put pigs in water. So let's try filling this crap back in here. I think what I can do, I don't think you can use build tools in the creator here. So I'm not going to be able to like build a house or something like that. Yeah, let's just drop this all down, even it all out. Now let's bring it back up. Try to get it fairly level. There we go. Bring it all up. I don't think that did much of anything, honestly. I was hoping that it leveled it out, but it didn't. Oh well. Let's. I want to at least level this part out. This is awful hilly. I want to be able to walk on it later. Alright, good enough. Whatever. I can put catwalks and stuff in there. But as I was saying, you can't build. You can put structural stuff, but this is like boats and stuff like that. You can't put down walls. You have to build all of that crap. So I'll have to do that later. But I think rocks, maybe? Can we put in cliffs? We can definitely do that, but that's not going to have the effect I'm looking for. So we won't do that. For now, what I want to do is... I have no idea what I want to do. I want to put in animals. Okay, we've got the boar, crab, but we have not seen a marlin. I've been hunting for a marlin for a while, but I have not been able to find one in... Well, that's a tiny little freaking marlin. I have not been able to find one in-game this season. Now, I think last season we got one, but, I mean, that doesn't do us a whole lot of good this season. Let's throw a few marlin in here. Let's put great white, some reef sharks. Hopefully these guys will actually swim around when we load the island. We'll put in some tiger sharks. And hopefully we don't fall into this mess. And of course some stingrays. Again, I wish we had the sea turtles and the whales and stuff like that like we used to have, but I am assuming if it's not on this list, it's not in the game at this time for some reason, and I can't imagine what that reason would be. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up for now. We've got a basic island here with some sea life in this pool, which hopefully once we've got it generated, we build up around it, we will be able to, kind of stand up here and look down and watch them without actually being in harm's way. So next time, I think we're going to go out and see if we can't do another mission. Maybe gain ourselves another gyrocopter part. And at the end of that episode, we'll take another look and we'll do a little more work on this island. So until then, I've been your host, DM Renavion, saying stay safe, have fun, I'm out.